Howdy, Gus. How's it going? Hopefully the audio is coming through fine. I've still got a really loud fan right behind me, but hopefully this is filtering it out good enough. Okay. So I want to pop display capture on. I'm gonna head over to Tribble first. There's been a couple things over there that I think people that have looked at Reddit have already seen, but I think it's going to be a fairly interesting month next month. Yeah, it's open.
Don't worry, the table isn't rigged
So,
anymore.
Goss, I know you like these things right here. You're a big fan of these, I know. Uh, but it's the really surprising thing is it only took them 15 months to add the Delkina to the Infinity Prize Pack. It only took 15 months. 15 months. Back in the day, when they were more on their game with this type of stuff, it would have taken them, after a ship was released in a lockbox, it would have been added to Infinity half a year later. But now we're at a point where it takes them 15 months to add a ship that already exists in the game into the Infinity lockbox. So the Delkina will be in the Infinity lockbox on May 10th, as will the California. Yes, lightning speed, exactly. I still don't have a solution for my chat being over on the monitor to my left, so occasionally you're going to see me looking over here. How many are we at? So, so the California class, the Cerritos, is another America worker ship. Thank you for the super chat. Um, the California class is going to be America worker utility cruiser, which means that it's probably going to have comparable stats to the Cerritos or to the Parliament, and probably be as wonderful of a ship. Yeah, you detect sarcasm? Nah. Unfortunately, I can't, actually go and grab one from the box yet, but we can still at least see that, this is where it's going. Don't have any more public information to really say about it other than, we know it's America worker ship, but I know there's a part of the player base that really gets excited whenever they hear about America worker ships. When I hear about America worker ship, it just usually means this is a ship I don't have to get because it's not going to be good. So I don't expect the Cerritos to perform that well unless they surprise us with like a really amazing bridge officer seating. But based on what they did to the Parliament last year, I I have very low expectations set for the California class. So something else that they've done is apparently if you have a Vesta over here, and I don't know if I have one on this character. I do not. I don't think I have a Vesta over here, but the new Vesta skins apparently, or the remaster of the original Vesta skin is live over here, but I don't think I can show that here right now. Apparently there's a new default Federation interior though, so I do want to see if that's something I can go just take a look at. I know interiors are not something people care that much about, but no, it's nice to see some improvements on the default bridges of ships, at least. On the triple test server here, it takes an extremely long time for any map that is not Drozana to load, so For me to even load into new Romulus command here is going to take a couple minutes. I mean, every ship can do 1,000,000 DPS at this point if you're with a supported team. People, was it Super Taiga almost did 1,000,000 with a tier 2 ship like a year and a half ago? Uh, so any ship can do 1,000,000. It's just how hard is it to get to 1,000,000 is the question I would pose. Terrible sarcasm. Utility cruiser. I'm expecting it to be just extremely inch heavy. We're gonna see they're gonna troll us. They saw the reaction to the Parliament where we complained about it only having a lieutenant tack, so they're gonna make this one where it's only got an ensign tack. That would honestly be pretty funny if they did that. I want to grab a Fed ship here. Let's go with Malkowski. I want to see if I can load that new bridge up on it. That not like I'd seen a post on Reddit talking about a new interior, but I wonder if it's only viewable in like specific missions or something. Yeah, just an ensign tack just to completely screw with us, that would be quite something. Yeah, so this is the new Federation bridge that they were working on for to go along with the revamp here. I don't know where these pictures, like, where they went to get these pictures, but yeah, this is the new interior that's supposedly coming with the this new season. Add 8 bridge officer slots and make them all ensign. Make it 13, right? The third, isn't it each ship? Is it 13 abilities each ship can slot? I don't really remember. Chaos? No. ROM engineer DPS master race? No. Engineers are good on the ground. It's just that in space they are painfully slow. It's painful to try and even boost up an engineer because they just don't have the capability, that they don't have the punch with their abilities. The exceptions in lower difficulty content like normal or advanced, where do is the superior build type, then engineers at least can use EPS power transfer and Adeon inversion and all that to get some power boost, but anywhere else it's just underwhelming. Howdy, Crusher. Now I've got a ping on Discord. Nick, I'm gonna act like I just never got that message. Rob, how are you doing? This is, like I was saying, this is what was apparently the new interior, new Federation bridge that's going to be available for Federation ships at some point in the future. It does look pretty nice. The interior is much more in depth, and I like what they've done with this. I wonder if this is fully default, like every ship can use it, or if it's, I don't know. Oh no, Rob, Supreme Fleet Leader. One of these days you are going to like hit your monitor when you say that. Shiting, what is the best race faction for an exotic build? Romulan. Romulan tack would probably be the most optimal. Thank you, Nicholas. When I saw a message from you, that was not the picture I was expecting. I was expecting other pictures. I was expecting you to be trolling me or something. Yeah, this interior looks pretty nice. I'll be interested to see uh, how and if it's fully available to us players to put on our, or to, to use with our ships. Nick, oh no. But it's not an option for me to select here. I'm underwhelming? Terrible. Thank you, Rob, for membership there. What's underwhelming, Chaos, is trying to boost engineers and engineers running energy weapons. That's just painful. In Elite, it is very painful. Boosting energy weapons up at all in Infected Elite is just... Energy weapons just do not perform well in that environment. I think that was really what I wanted to show on Triple, though, was the Delkina being added to Infinity, and I can't show off that new bridge, but... What I need them to do is just mess up and let me select the California here, just so I can see what it's like. See how bad the bridge officer seating is on it. You know, it's a shame. It's a shame I don't have any Phoenix packs right now. Waldo, how's it going? And I'm over on the Triple Test server, and it's a shame I don't have any any Phoenix packs to move over here right now. You know, bring up some good old memories right here.
4.7% discount for the next 3 minutes.
Close Triple out. I'm gonna see if any of my crap sold from yesterday. I posted a bunch of DOFs up, but I don't know how many have sold. I know I had a couple sell on Market Manipulator that I already went and got the EC from. I want to gamble a bit. Oh no, Rob, am I seeing you in a channel IOC there? Dwayne, that is not story related. That is just they were hoping to get players over there to test probably server performance, just testing stability of whatever changes they made. They do that whenever they make a change to the code branch. Or when they bring a new code branch live, they like to do that just to stress test it. I need to actually hop on an engineer. Just for a couple minutes here. To do one of the few things in the game that the engineers are good at. That is going to be healing health on ground. The Eclipse is a ship I have not used in a very long time. But with surgical strikes, I'm not surprised that that would be a bit more viable now. Weird little load there. I think I may have my game sound completely turned off, so let me turn that back on here when I get a chance. 535 on your endeavors. I'm only at 313 right now. Okay, now I get to do the one thing that engineers are uniquely capable of on ground, and that is to just sit here, take damage, and heal myself to complete this endeavor. Yeah, I didn't. So back in the day, before I set my engineer up to do this, when I wanted to do this heal health endeavor, I would just use large hypos, and it would take me like 10 minutes. This is obviously a bit easier to do. Um, of course, Nick is here to help accelerate this. So let me see if my game sound is. Yeah, Jet, how you doing? That'd be why there's no game sound. Low Endeavor DPS. Hey, I've got all of the important stuff done with the Endeavors, though, at least. At least for space. Like, I've got the crit chance, severity, I've got all the good stuff maxed out. It's just the damage resistance that I don't have filled out now, which doesn't matter. Not in PvE, at least. I would go alien. So, with the aliens, you get an extra trait slot. So, if I were on a normal just Romulan with the elite captain token, I would only have 9 trait slots, and then the elite captain token would take it up to 10. As an alien, you get 1 extra right off the bat, so you can have up to 11 traits for space and ground. So, just go with alien, so you get that extra level of min-maxing. Am I actually, like, is this thing ticking twice for healing me and Nick, or? One bundle or pack that I'd recommend for a free-to-play console player? I mean, the ultimate bundle that would really give you access to a lot of things is going to be the 10th anniversary bundle. You know, that's the big obvious one because of just how much stuff it has in it. But if you're looking for something not as expensive, I'm still a fan of the legendary Romulan Warbird bundle, the one that has the legendary Scimitar and the Daredex. Both ships are capable of doing well in a variety of things. The Daredex not as much, but that Scimitar is just so good. I am currently using the Shax cannon. Nice, Carlos. Yeah, I for a while there, I was wishing I could just, you know, buy out the Endeavors, but now I'm at a point where even if they introduced a way to give us, like, to let us buy out the Endeavors, the Endeavor perk points, I don't know if I would. Terrible, Nick. Yeah, the aliens give you the most customization options also. Okay, now I can leave Nukara. Thank you to everyone that stopped by there. I'm gonna run from Nick. I mean, the scimitars are probably some of the best supports right now for high-end runs, because the intel stuff is really there's some really nice intel abilities for debuffing. Ionic's really good. Kinetic Magnet can actually do well. Oh no. I don't know how to answer that one for your sarcasm. Let's see. Let me just take a look at Discord here. Some messages pop up. Okay. So I was thinking of using this Romulan engineer and setting it up with a torque boat, just to try and take the top engineer spot, but I don't really feel like investing the resources in it, because I know the math, is not the stuff isn't there to allow engineers to really compete at the high level of play that I like to do. So while it'd be interesting to do, at the same time, that's a lot of resources for something that is not actually going to beat out the existing characters I have set up for that type of environment. Ain't gonna happen, Rob. Yeah, I know. It's terrible. I mean, I almost had the top spot with a Fed size, so I think I could beat your engineer with an engineer if I put the time into it. I don't really want to put the resources into it. The cost to set up a high end warp DPS boat, like if you were actually just putting the money into the game to get everything, is like $700-800 at least. No, engineers don't even make the best tank captains. Because of how threat generation in the game works, your threat is based upon how much damage you do to the opponents, how much healing you do. Uh, Engineers don't really... They have a little heal clicky that they get, but that basically is irrelevant with all of the other heal options nowadays. The best tanks in the game are Psi or TAC. The ones used in record runs are Tax or Psi's. Yeah, Tax definitely are the best tanks. Psi's are the second best, I would say. Psi's have more damage boosting abilities than engineers, and they have debuff. Tax just have a ton of damage boosting abilities, and there's so many easy ways to heal yourself, like the protomatter tac consoles from the colony. Those are pretty big. There's a lot of different ways to gain survivability right now, so engineers just... Every class has access to get healing much further past the point, that an engineer natively can, but engineers don't have a way to make up the damage loss, from not having things like alpha or scattering field. Let me catch up on chat. Howdy, Cables. Stuart, how you doing? Yeah, sensor scan is really, really huge. Yeah. Well, engineers can't do the damage to pull in enough threat in that high-end environment most of the time. Now there are all engineers, bad. No, there's a few people that have found ways to make it work most of the time. But the other issue you run into is the utility of engineers. If I'm doing like a record ISE run, which is what I really focus towards, if I have a attack tank in there, I know that they're bringing an attack fleet, they're bringing in Fire by Mark, and I know that they're going to have damage boosts to be able to take more threat. If I have a side tank in there, I know that they're still going to be fairly capable of doing damage. They have scattering field, which means that they can even buff my damage more if they're around me. They've got sensor scan to massively debuff the foes. Like, I think my preferred tank in a run would probably be a science, just to have that extra debuff, but Psi or tac tanks are what I prefer to run with. Engineer nannies, that's a terrible, terrible thing to say. We need an all-engineer team. No. That's a terrible idea. Absolutely terrible. I need to do pull around damage quick. It's just terrible. Five engineers and 5 parliaments. I mean, Goss, for that, all you have to do is go to Trisander's stream late at night. He'll have 5 engineers in there, and I'm pretty sure if you coordinate ahead of time, you can get 5 parliaments. Triz loves the parliament. Yeah, Turtle, I had a similar idea. Like with if they ever did a new fleet holding, like there's so many ways they could give us more power creep, bridge the gap between the classes. My entire trays reset. Gotta love it. I don't even have the base bomb bars anymore. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not into the competitive tanking stuff as much. Like I don't really care about attacks in. If the big thing in the run is, did anybody die? If the DPS doesn't die, if the supports don't die, that's perfectly acceptable to me. For a while, we even ran all the supports had threatening stance on too. The attacks in metric, I understand why, some people like it, but I don't care about it. And as soon as I have a tank start talking about it, I know they're probably not a tank I want to bring into my runs. Go back to the tooth. Oh no. So I just got a message in game. Nick wants to know if this Agony dual beam bank will help his drain build. I know Exploiter's terrible. Perfectly viable option for PvP. Yeah, give everyone sub nukes. Um, no, I think the idea I had with like a new fleet holding would be to just try to. One of the approaches to it would be to just reduce the difference between classes. You don't even need a fleet holding to do it. You know, we need to get a level cap increase again at some point. What if at level 70 you could just choose a captain ability from a different class or a different career to use on your current character? Imagine if engineers could gain access to attack power and alpha or go down fighting. Uh, you know, your TAC could gain access to sensor scan. Yeah, Goss, it's gotta love the exploiters. All of my characters are all my torque boats are on exploiters right now, but those are those are really min-max builds doing very specific content. Rob, that's a terrible question, buddy. EPS would be interesting if you're EPS would be a good option if you're like doing an energy weapon build. Uh, definitely if you're doing energy weapons or you're doing ISA a ton, then that would be good. But for the torque boats on Elite, I don't know. I think I'd be somewhat biased towards like sensor scan, uh, or scattering field. I don't know for sure. The torque boats, the only thing they care about power-wise is boosting the phase space membrane, but that can be entirely accomplished by just having a teammate hit an oxbat, so they don't really need EPS transfer. The torps aren't boosted by ox power, so other than through the phase space membrane, so... I think it's time to gamble a little bit. I've got a lot of EC on me right now, and I know gambling is... We've got Goss here. Goss, this is, you see, this is what STO has done to me. Let me beam up to the bridge of the gambling addict. You see, this is what the game has turned me into, Goss. I gotta gamble, man. That was highly disappointing. I got basically nothing out of that. I got a space straight box. What? Oh no. What is this, Nicholas? It's gonna be Tetrion weapons? Thank you, Nick. I'm gonna find a great use for these things. I'm sorry. Let me buy that back. Let's see here. EPS, once again, EPS I understand the value of for Purdue. But sensor scan in general, I just really like, especially with the torque boats, how high their ox power is. I think they're good in that scenario. Hoodwinked. We need more missions for sure. I don't really care much for the story content, to be completely honest with you. That's not why I play the game, but I do understand that them releasing story missions only once every 3 to 4 months is just terrible for the game long term. Uh, there's just nothing, to do for most people most of the time. If I wasn't doing like the record-setting runs in Infected right now, I don't know what the hell I'd be doing in the game because uh, it's like pulling teeth to go through and get people for elite runs most of the time, and I'm not gonna have much fun in normal and advanced when things die just when you look at them with a good build. So we definitely need more missions, and for them to fix broken stuff, yeah, there's a lot of things they should be fixing also before it releases. But their QA team just, I don't think, I talked about this yesterday, I just don't think their QA team even bothers to like check new ships, the traits, consoles off them, anything like that anymore. They know that we'll complain about them, as soon as they release and tell them about any bugs with them, so they don't bother checking them. Crusher, I use, so before this scrolls up here, um, to get my crit chance up on the torp boats, I'm already sitting at like 50% just base between the global crit chance and then the stats, like the plus weapon crit chance skill that I have. After that, I've got Tearing Goodbye on there. That's 15%. Universal Designs another 10%, and then there's Accuracy Overflow. And in the end, it generally works out that my torp boat is typically, I think, somewhere around 80 to 90% crit chance. Number might be wrong, but I generally, just in actual combat, it's usually still up around that 80% area. A few billion EC, I don't have really much EC at all. I know I just, bought 10 keys there, but that was all the EC I had on me. It may surprise you, but I have always been EC poor. I just maintain a lot of assets that I can liquidate. Sarcasm. Uh, there's other things to do in the game other than ISC. Well, actually, you're right. There's HSC. I remember now. There's Hive Space Elite. I know. I know. Infected's not the only thing. HSC's also a thing. I know. Hoodwinked the newspaper. Yeah. Rob, I got screwed, man. X Jim, how you doing? Yeah, Carlos. Honestly, there's a lot of things with this game where, uh, at this point, if they've not already been fixed, I think it's pretty much just the idea of it's never going to get fixed. Well, sarcasm. I know there's also Kittimer, and I think I remember. It's been a long time, but I think that I remember there being a queue. Queue called Cure Space. Yeah, I remember protecting the Kang. But on a more real note, I think the sad thing is that most of this newer content that they've come out with, like most of the new queues in the past couple of years, because of just how time gated they are, I don't really enjoy them. Uh, I don't enjoy Starbase 1. Bug Hunt Elite. Yeah, Bug Hunt Elite's a thing. It's interesting. Now I need to work on my engineer for Bug Hunt, don't I, Nick? Not today, but at some point. It's like one of those broke billionaires, yes. I'm also very slow at reading chat today, I'm sorry. Turtle, this never gonna happen. We're not getting any more classes. Remember, uh, when the specializations initially came out, like the Intel spec and all that, the idea was to have it just be that you're an intelligence captain, that you would make a new character and you'd have an option, so it'd be TAC, engineer, science, intelligence, pilot, whatever. but they realized how terrible that idea was and abandoned that and made it so that they made the current specialization system instead. Sarcasm. No, I didn't know that so few people had found it. Mark, is there much up on Tribble for the Stormfall branch? Publicly, we know that the Californian class is a merit worker ship. We know the Dalkina and the Zat Vash lockbox are being added to Infinity on the 10th. If you could look on Reddit, there's like a new Federation interior, and the Vesta. There's a revamped Vesta skin, apparently. Yeah. I haven't run Binary Stars in a long time, but yeah, I remember EPG builds in there just crushing it. Oh, that just filled. I'm sorry, Nick. I had this window covering it up. What I would like is more duty officer slots. I know that's a fairly niche issue, but I am on a lot of my main market characters. I am at the 500 cap. It's a bit annoying. Let's see how much these projectile crit offs sell for. I have 2 KDF crit chance ones. What are they at? Okay, I'm gonna post these up at 100 mil per. Jedi, no. I did not see that. It's a very interesting question, though. I don't know. I mean, to hell with honors. It's nice, I play with the game sound off when I'm actually playing, so I don't hear the music or anything that I know runs in there. It's definitely one of the more interesting queues in the past few years, and one that I can tolerate, but it still is. It's not that challenging. There's no elite content right now that is actually challenging if you have a built-out ship, which is somewhat annoying. Security officers. I think I went through most of these yesterday. I don't know if I checked 22. No problem, Mark. And that new Federation interior that was being teased there looks interesting too. I showed that off on the stream at the start. Okay. These are... apparently people are paying, 400 million for this stuff, so I'll put mine up for 320 if it sells. Half of these offs that are like really expensive, they probably are just going to bounce back, and I'll have to repost them at a much lower price. I'm going to put this one in at a discount. Yeah, that's true. That's really always been the thing, hasn't it? Is once you understand how to build a ship, how to fly, and how to, where to find other people that are competent to do the high-end content with, elite is not an issue. Like this game, they've talked about, you know, those of us that like to push high numbers and min-max, we are definitely not the target audience for the game. The target audience for this game is people that log in and play for at most 1 to 3 hours a week. And these are the people where you'll go into an ISA pug, and because they don't put time into the game, they don't bother to look at any external resources. They're doing like 5 to 10,000 DPS in your ISA. That's their target audience. It sucks, but that's what we gotta deal with for now. And Crusher, I don't think they run those that often. I think the last set that I picked up was around, I want to say Black Friday, I think is when I picked up the last set of mine. Arrow, how you doing?
Oh, I miss Rom.
That is the system that would be nice if they revisited, but I don't see them hoodwinked going back through and modifying some of those older systems like that. Like updating all the vendors. I just don't see them doing it at this point. There used to be an in-game parser, so there's one on the triple test map that everyone or a lot of people are aware of, but there used to be one like a scoreboard when you ran just the random like red alerts that would pop up when flying around in sector space. You know, those little really easy red alerts that pop up. There used to be a damage tracker in those. It wouldn't give you your DPS, but it would tell you how much damage you did. Mark, I completely agree with the season or battle pass ideas. I'm a big fan of those, and in other games where I actively play those games, if they have a season pass, I always pick them up, and you know they're usually worth the money. I'd like to see something like that for Stowe. Even if it was, say, you know, say they did an event campaign season pass right off the bat, the start of the year. They're like, okay, you buy this thing for $60 and you have all of the event prizes from throughout the year and your event campaign's instantly finished. You know that would sell out. But I just don't see them doing anything like that. I have an energy weapon crit officer for KDF here. Crit severity. Let me see what this thing's worth. That was apparently just sitting in my mail. When you're looking at DOFs on the exchange, you often have to hover your mouse over them and go up and down like this. As you see, the info on them is changing as I go over them with the mouse. This is just a fun thing you have to do with STO. So there's none of these on the exchange. I'm putting this up for 300 million. Hey Peter, how you doing? Yeah, the thing too with like the cost of Infinity and promo, the reason Kale said on 10 Forward, I think this week, that he said they are not interested in making it so you have a way to make your character-bound ships available account-wide. The reason is because for each promo ship or lockbox ship that people obtain, on average, Cryptic is getting $200 at least per ship that is generated because of the drop rates. So Cryptic has no financial incentive to go in and say, okay, for $50 you can unlock this ship account wide, when they know that they're getting so much money as is through the gambling mechanics. Yeah, DOFs, it's a pain when they do this, but just have to live with it. Also got a projectile crit severity DOF. I just posted these two crit chance at 100, so I'm not going to post this one. There's one crit severity up at 155. I'm going to do 140. Yeah. Peter, you probably saw my tank, and that was running the Lucari Vanity Shield. It's a really nice Vanity Shield. It's like sort of Tron-like colors, I think. Like the blue lines on it. Let me double check. I mean, 300 mil, there's none of them on the market, so I'm gonna post it there, and if someone wants to buy it, it's there. Yeah, this is just the Lucari rep shield from Lucari Reputation. It's the actual shield I'm using. I don't know if the Vandy shield from the rep has the same visual, but either way, it's not the hardest thing to acquire. Achilles, I think the worst thing is I'm only posting it for 300 million. It is the only one. I should post it up for a bit more. And Hoodwinked, if it ever comes to, you know, your last line there, at which point the game would shut down. I hope, you know, when that day does come, that there's like a fully leaked set of the server code. It'd be interesting to toy around with like a local chart of the game. Okay, what do I have on this character DOF-wise? So no Borg DOFs. Reflector. It looks like this character doesn't have anything. How much are RSP DOFs going for? $15 million. I mean, it's against, you know, actually running one is against the terms of service, but there was one from a few years back, but it's like pre-Dyson Sphere, so it's really outdated. Also, I had someone comment on a video or my last stream earlier. The Ceratos being added to the Infinity Lockbox does not mean that it's going to be available in this year's event campaign. It will not be an option. It will be an option in the one for next year, though, if you're wanting to get it completely free to play, but I have to imagine the stats on it are going to be very underwhelming. I'm going to look up security officers here. I think I've already went through and like picked this character clean for all of the good org doffs, so it looks like I don't have anything left here. All of the stuff I have in this bank looks to be fairly outdated. Or worth very little. Is the Mata Raptor a good scatter volley platform? Let me see here. 5.2 has access to OSS2. Yeah, this could work. You could run Immersive Powered Weapons 3, Directed Energy Modulation. And you could make this work as a scatter volley build. That should work fairly well. No, I agree. The California class, the Ceratops, it's probably not going to be a good show. Wonder how good this console is. Probably not that good, but I wonder. Yeah, there's a lot of ships, and a lot of these original Intel ships from the Delta Pack. Like Goss was saying, he picked up the Eclipse earlier, and the Delta Pack, is it a bit dated? Sure, but I think they're still, all of these ships are still perfectly viable. Yeah. There's been a lot of great things over the years to get some of these ships free to play, and I think that's been really great. I think the Quib is definitely a fairly capable ship right now. The Eclipse is what Goss was messing around with, and I know that can do fairly well. What I'm still hoping for this year, isn't this year like the 20th anniversary or something of Nemesis, right? I'm still hoping for a nice like legendary Mo guy. Nice, Peter. Glad that's worked out for you. Yeah, there's some of those older ships where the Klingon or Romulan versions just ended up being better, for sure. Turtle, that makes sense. Where is this at? Yeah, the Mo guy. I'd love a really nice legendary version of this ship. I don't even remember what the seating is on it. Just a lieutenant commander intel. That's a shame. Yeah, Mark, that was another thing too, and why I was saying or recommending to quite a few people to just if they have any level of interest at all in the legendary bug ship, to just buy it right now during the initial 50% discount, because it's likely to not ever return at that price point. Right now where's the calculator? So it's 9,000 Zen normally, and it's half off at 4,500 Zen. But they are only going to likely run the 35% sales for it afterwards, which means that if you don't buy it now at $45, you're going to be spending about 60 to get it during any future sales. So if you have any interest at all in getting the legendary bug ship, it's just cheaper to get it while it's like $15 cheaper than it will ever be in the future. That's just their FOMO, fear of missing out tactics in play right there. Legendary D7 is good. I don't have the Legendary D7. I skipped out on it because when I looked at the stats of it last year, I didn't think it was that good, so I skipped it. The one that I really miss and regret not getting is actually, if I go up to in bundles, I regret not getting the Legendary Miranda. Not for the ship. I don't care about the ship itself, but for the trade on the ship. Yeah, you would think that they would at least do the 50% sale for, like, Black Friday, right? But I think they only did, what, 25 or 35% off? Now, if you're buying Zen, if you factor in the Zen discount and how much Zen you're getting per dollar, you know, that brings the price down during Black Friday, but still, it didn't ever go back down to its cheapest Zen price. I agree, Jimmy. Vanguard Specialist, after, you know, there was a large amount of feedback to them to make the trait good. Once they did that, it became something that, you know, was able to help a lot of older ships. Just, you know, with other traits in the future, I just hope that it doesn't require as much community backlash in order to make the trait good. You know, hopefully the next one we see that's similar in its effects or whatever to make older abilities good doesn't require that we have to give feedback to explain, you know, to them how to make it so it actually makes things good. Hopefully they can figure that out on their own, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I wanted the Legendary Miranda for the trade on it, for the shield pen, for energy weapons, just because I thought that would be interesting if I wanted to do, say, any more solo HSCs or whatever with an energy weapon build. I think it was about a year ago I was trying to do solo HSCs with a beam overload inquiry, and I mean I got through it, but having that level of shield pen would definitely have would very much have helped. Yeah, I think the 10th anniversary bundle is the only one where they have brought it back at its original price in recent times. And then the what was it, the 12th anniversary bundle we just got? That one ended up being cheaper in a sale a month after release than it was when it initially released. Yeah. It's because the 10th anniversary bundle, if you're buying it, they're getting $200, you know, basically. But if you're buying, you know, just one of those ships, just a single legendary ship, they want to make you, they still want to get a lot of money out of you. Yeah, double intel team is really fun, and the legendary bug ship definitely can take advantage of that, which means that in PvP it is apparently, you know, quite annoying and quite a capable platform. No, the 11th anniversary bundle is, you know, to be honest, I got the 11th anniversary bundle last year, and initially I quite regretted it, but now, you know, I'm really happy that I got it. I mean, I haven't messed around with the ambassador yet. You know, to be honest, I don't have much interest right now running a ton of energy weapon builds, so I'm not that interested personally in going out of my way and setting up a surgical strikes build on the ambassador with recursive shearing. I know other people have already done that now. I just don't have that level of motivation to do stuff with energy weapons, but the Vorchow is just really good with torpedoes. The Vorchow is just amazing. I wonder, I'm still curious, how many people actually bought that bigger version of the 10th anniversary bundle that gave you just a couple, like, keys and small items like that. MB, how's it going? Dustin, you know, to be honest, there's lots of ships that should be able to equip shuttles or hangar pets, but Cryptic decides to limit those just for balancing reasons. It's not that the ships, you know, shouldn't have hangar bays. It's just that Cryptic chooses to limit what ships can have hangar bays as a balancing mechanic and as a way to give them options in the future if they want to release, you know, a different version of that ship. Yeah, the Vorcha, to be honest, the Vorcha is the only one from the 11th anniversary pack that I run on a regular basis. Right now, I use it for just a variety of things, but it's also just, it's a really fun torque boat. There's also the limitation of the entity cap in instances. So if you go in with a torpedo boat into, say, Infected Elite, and you have, say, two torque boats that have 4 mines on them each, and they're spamming mines throughout the entire starting bit, it's going to get very, very cluttered, and the enemies will actually start to despawn. The same can happen if there's too many, just too many entities on the map in general, including like hangar pets. Yeah, MB's a torp addict now. Who would have thought that would have happened? MB went from doing energy weapons, and now he's got the itch to do torps. I want to see what these Omni beams here that I have, what they're selling for. And this Kelvin torp. Yeah, the 11th anniversary bundle was way too expensive. The situation financially at the time for me was pretty good, so I went out and grabbed it during a sale. But if I was you know, looking at it right now, I probably wouldn't get it. It's nice, but you have to really want the ships in it in order to justify the cost. The thing is, Mark, to be honest with you, I honestly do not believe Cryptic wants hangar pets to perform well. Like, they want hangar pets to do okay, but they don't want them to... Cryptic has clearly made it so your hangar pets are not able to be your primary damage source. You know, they very much try to dissuade that playstyle. Legendary Talus is also interesting, yeah. I picked the Legendary Talus up just for Assault Formation Theta, and that is really a crazy trait. I really enjoy that, and I've been running that on the Vorcha quite a bit recently. I'm gonna have to tell Triz that this Calvin Torp I'm posting is mine, that he doesn't have to worry, I'm only posting the one. You see, so if you guys know Trizander over on Twitch, he manipulates the entire Kelvin photon market because he's just such a fanatic of the torps. So he's going to see that I just posted this one undercutting his, and he's probably going to freak out, but I'm just going to send him a message and say, hey, man, I only had one, and I posted it. You can relax. Triz dominates the Kelvin weapon market. Let's catch up on chat here. But yeah, Mark, I agree. It'd be nice if pets were more effective. It's just Cryptic doesn't have an incentive to. You know, they keep drip feeding traits. They're drip feeding traits to boost, you know, hangar pets, but none of them are actually, you know, significantly boosting hangar pets up to a level where they could be the main damage source on your build. Waldo, it's a weird thing for him to dominate on the exchange, but you know how Triz is. He's really into all that theme stuff, and the Kelvin stuff is one of his favorite categories. Kiwi, how's it going? We have some weather coming in. Apparently we got some thunderstorms heading our way. Terrible. Nick, oh no, what are you using as your carrier there, Nicholas? There's also Darthon, just the issue. I think an issue server performance wise that limits how much they're willing to boost pets is we've had issues in the past with how many stacks of buffs are on players, and if everyone's got 20 pets out and you start having multiple stacks of those, you know, of just buffs on each single pet, that's gonna make things a bit worse. Looks like a boomerang. Terrible, Nick. I remember you working on that. I remember now. I remember. I don't think there's much more I can post on this character. Yeah, pets and mines, like Nick, hop on a torp boat quick. I wanna just demonstrate to people what despawn looks like. Just hop on a torp boat, hop on a tooth. Just hop on a tooth. Fake news, Augie. I would never play the exchange. Remember, I'm playing warships actually right now. I've just got STO open as a distraction. Make it look like I'm not playing warships. Yeah, I want to mess around with not the Disco Prize, but the Disco D7 at some point. That would be interesting, just to do like a fun build on. Nick, pop us into a Kittimer Elite. Serious Sab? Oh no. You guys are about to see what despawn looks like. I've got another message on Discord, I'm concerned. Sorry, Nick. Don't even engage at the start. Just keep spamming mines until the map despawns. Let's show everyone what mine despawn looks like. So this is what happens when you have too many entities in a map. the enemies just despawn like that. See that? Attack cubes in front of us have despawned. The gateway's disappeared. Everything has disappeared. Now, they'll reappear when we get close to them, but this is what you would see in every match if everyone was able to like equip 20 hangar pits. I didn't even have a parser on. I don't know what that number was. Yeah, let's get out of here, Nick. Oh, you're trying to take your side out. I see what you're doing. He kicks me as soon as I start shooting. Terrible, Nick. Well, so my favorite, my favorite D7 from back in the day is still the Temporal Battlecruiser. I had a lot of fun with that back in the day. That's got a Commander Temporal seat and Lieutenant Commander Intel. That was really fun back in the feedback pulse meta. Let me tell you that. But the Disco D7, you know, I haven't actually flown that in a while. What does that look like? I mean, yeah, it's not the best. There's probably some customization option I'm missing. Yeah, the Kelvin D7 is definitely a good looking ship. I don't think this one's terrible, but I haven't looked at it that close. I need to look at it in the Taylor. And thank you, Nick, for helping with that demonstration of what mine despawn or map despawn looks like. That looks terrible. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I've seen worse, but I can understand. Yeah, it's not the most appealing design. Like for this shape of ship, I still really like you look at the detail on this and it's cool. Now let's take a look at the legendary Vorcha from the 11th anniversary bundle. So, we were talking earlier about the price of the 11th anniversary bundle. You know why it's so expensive. So we just saw how a promo D7 looked, and now just look at the detail on this legendary Vorcha. This is why it costs you $200 to get the pack. It's it actually it looks good. It looks very detailed. The lighting on it's better than your typical setup. Yeah, I agree, Mark. Like it'd be nice to have like some shuttle battles, but even on the show, you're right, they didn't really have that many. Yeah, but the visual appearance of this Vorcha, like it's just a very high detail model. Like if I zoom in, region 5, like the detail on this is definitely a bit higher than your traditional ship in the game. It looks very detailed. Yeah. I would say, there's only 4 packs or 4 ships in that pack. And the reason is probably because of how much time was actually spent on each one art-wise, getting a really nice skin for them. Howdy, Stu. How you doing? Yeah, it is a very good looking ship. It's a very good torp boat. I've been running mine with like a theta setup on it. Been doing extremely well. Orville, man, it's been so long since I even heard Orville. I think they're doing their 3rd season and then they're gonna wrap it up. I don't know if I have the other ships on this character to look at. Earlier when I was talking about the California class, I was saying, I was speaking very negatively about Miracle Worker. One ship that I wish did not have Miracle Worker is this one right here, the Sovereign. I really wish they'd given this command. I know a lot of people like Miracle Worker. I just don't think Miracle Worker offers really that much. Yeah, Miracle Worker and Pilot. Yeah, the Kronos 1 material on the Vorcha is amazing. 5/3 command Sovereign, I'd go for that. I mean, I'm perfectly content with the 4/4 Sovereign. Just give me a better specialization than Miracle Worker. For the type of playstyle I have, the only thing I like about Miracle Worker is the extra console. That's it. Yeah, I think a 5/3 version of the Sovereign. Yeah. The issue with the Vizier is it's only a Lieutenant Commander command. I'd want like a full command, because if you had a full command Sovereign with a fairly decent setup, it could either be a torp boat or it could be, a really good tank. Because all the high-end tanks right now are all command. Yeah, Miracle Worker, I think... I would say Miracle Worker is better. It's obviously better in like normal and advanced. All of the records are set with the Vodwar Juggernaut. That extra console really helps quite a bit. The extra Cat 2 from those abilities definitely helps. I just think that when you get into elites, those benefits start to... they're still there, but they're not as potent as, say, Command with Call Emergency Artillery or Suppression Barrage. No. But there's definitely perks to Miracle Worker. They just don't really align with my current playstyle and what I like to have in a ship. If that makes sense. It's not that I fully hate it, it's just that it doesn't offer the things that benefit my playstyle. I do have a legendary pilot bird of prey. I wonder... I haven't really looked at the skins on this thing. Let's see what this looks like. Make sure the vanities are all turned off. Mark, we need the Commander Command and Lieutenant Commander Temporal. We don't have that combo yet. Yes, this is the highly detailed model. Right here. Which one is the 11th anniversary model? But this one? This looks a little bit more detailed than the others. Let me zoom in. Let's go 15. That's a bit too zoomed in. Let's set this. That looks somewhat detailed. This definitely is dated. That's dated. Dated. So, I mean, this model looks somewhat dated in some ways. Yeah, I think it's this one. Okay. Yeah, this model's not terrible. I'm gonna zoom in further on those guns under it. Show this one. Let's go scale. And you can see the limitations with the texture when you get really close into it, but it looks fine. Still. They remastered the original one as well? Okay. Yeah, I agree, Mark. Like, just give me a proper command version of the Sovereign and I'll be happy. What is my address? What an interesting question. One you're not getting an answer to, Quentin. That's terrible. Yeah, I can imagine you can really kit bash with any of those 11th anniversary ships. They went through and updated all the models pretty well. Quentin is he's just messing, don't worry. He's just screwing with me. Yeah, the Sovereign's always shown shooting salvos, so that'd be really nice. I don't even know how to respond to some of that. Like, I know you're trolling there, Quentin, but some of the things you're saying are bit out there. Let's see. I'm gonna take a look at the where's the Excelsior? Here it is. Help if I swap to the ship. I already forgot what name it just gave it. Terrible, Rob. You're gonna sell my address. I still like how the Excelsior looks. The issue with the Excelsior is that in this game, all versions of it have always just been just trash, and I don't remember if the version with the 11th anniversary bundle was that much better. It is a very good looking ship. The model on it looks better than it did years ago. I'm not really. I mean, I get some of the appeals with the model they did for the 11th anniversary bundle. Like, it looks a bit more modern. Like, it's definitely a more modern take of the Excelsior, but I'm still not into it that much. The engines right there at the back look neat. The blue line here looks nice. If you put the Lucari shield on, it'd look really nice. Like, the material looks really good, but I think I'd still prefer the original skin. Or the original, like, shape of it. But that Repulse skin on the original looks really good, actually. Yeah, the classic look looks really nice. And there's still, like, there's a fair amount of detail to this, and the Repulse skin definitely has a lot of detail with it. Yeah, I think if you're using this ship, you use the Repulse appearance with it. What was the bridge officer seating on this ship? Commander engineer with miracle worker and lieutenant commander engineer with pilot. That summarizes my thoughts on miracle worker ships. I forgot to swap over to the damn ship again. Terrible. Yeah, it's very similar to the legendary Sovereign. If Pilot had more going for it, it might be different, but this is probably the new appearance for it. Yeah. You know, to be honest, there was a time that I really liked the Ambassador. Uh, you know, back when the Ambassador, we got the free one from story mission, was it? One of the first missions back with Tashiar back in the day, you'd get like a free T5 Ambassador or something. It wasn't great, but I remember enjoying the ship quite a bit. Some of these materials are just too damn bright. Catch up on chat here. Yeah, the Excelsior was very similar to the Legendary Sovereign, just better because it had a Lieutenant Commander secondary specialization seat rather than just Intel. Yeah, Temporal Ambassador is the mission, Peter. Yeah. The least deserving ship that they will actually make into a Legendary? Oof. That's a good question. I'm just thinking right now. Howdy, Rubica. I don't have a good answer for that one. Legendary Akira Command Warship when? Not soon enough. I would like a 4-4 Akira where they make the point defense torpedo console usable on any ship. Yeah, the space in the neck I think you can change a bit. Yeah, I think ERL. So I haven't actually tested ERL yet or reroute reserves to weapons, but I think one of the things that would really help with either of those abilities would be to allow them to be used alongside other firing modes. Like if you could use reroute reserves to weapons alongside, say, surgical strikes, that'd be nuts. That would actually, make it really good. Uh, but the current state where they are their own firing modes leaves a little bit to be desired. Yeah, a legendary Akira would be really nice. The space in the neck, can you get rid of that? I don't remember. Neck. Yeah, you can get rid of that. So for these, which one do I like most visually? I like how the nacelles are a bit more raised on this version. Definitely don't really like the Horatio much. The Narendra I can go for a little bit. I don't know, but the thing with all of these 11th anniversary ships, uh, there's just so much customization you can do with them. It's the whole modifying. Like, it really is just a crazy amount of customization options. Terrible, Nick. I'm not going to set this up right now for surgical strikes. I don't. This isn't even the right character for that. But the customization options on all those 11th anniversary ships really is quite crazy. Yeah. Well, it was a really early model from very early into the game's life, so it doesn't surprise me that much. You know, some of those really old original models, they could use a bit of touch up. But, you know, back to the question, what is the least deserving ship for like a legendary version? Hmm, the Steam Runner I don't think is worthy of a legendary version. We don't have a legendary Gagarin, do we? I'll probably try to come out with one of those at some point. I don't remember if there's one, or is that like the disco one, isn't it? Oh, that's the Walker. No, no. The Patrol Escort, like the Tempest, yeah. So that was, I remember when that was really popular for the Nadion bomb. But that is incredibly dated at this point. Remember the tail gun on it? Oh, birth too weak sauce for legendary? Yes. I don't know. Legendary ships, I don't care if they keep making, you know, legendary ships, even if the ships aren't really that popular. Um, you know, I'd rather have these legendary ships than the alternative, which is them just doing T7. Yeah, the removable weapon, that could be interesting, but I don't think it'd be used for a lot of builds. Let me move chat over here so I'm looking at in the right direction. Yeah, the patrol escort definitely needs a T6 version, just not a legendary. Ships that I would like to see legendary versions of, though, the Mogai I mentioned. I can't remember the name. There's one of the Romulan ships that I used to fly a ton back in the day. Just search up Warbird. So the Hathos, I don't remember what the tier 5 version was called, the Delon. Um, the Hathos or Delon, I'd like to see a legendary version of that, though that's a very niche ship. I don't think that would sell that well unless it had like a really amazing trade or console on it. Um, this was a ship I had quite a bit of fun with back in the day. It was uh, more of like it was attack escort, but it had a lot of science focus on it, if I recall. This would be interesting to have a legendary version of. Um, you know, the Archie for what do they call this one? Jewel Owl tactical carrier. Like I'd like to see more Romulan uh, legendary ships. Yeah, the thing with T7. So you know, I was around when T5 was the top thing, and when they came out with T6, I would say that half the people I had ever played with stopped playing the game. If they did T7, they know the same thing would happen. And there's been so much investment in all these gambling ships and all that. Could you imagine just the amount of frustration people would have if every gamble ship that they've acquired over the last, you know, 8 years suddenly isn't, you know, the best here? Especially these ships costing, you know, $200 per. That would annoy so many people. So I think legendary is is basically the tier 7 that we're getting. I don't think we're going to get anything better than legendary. I think if they do any improvements past this, it's going to be through more upgrades for the ships. They'll just further expand upon the ship upgrade system. Right now we've got T6X. What if they did a T6Y token, in October or something? Legendary Vestas, you only gotta wait like a month for that to come out. I think that's gonna be out sometime next month or the following month. So May or June. Um the yeah, for the Cardassians, the Galore, yes. Atrias, more Klingon ships definitely are needed. I don't think there's a ton of Klingon ships left to be covered, but yeah. We should have had more legendary KDF ships during the year of Klingon instead of getting just a handful there. The issue with the legendary Prometheus is they wouldn't have those built in. They would keep the current mechanics where you have to slot the console. But a legendary Keldon, which is the T6 version of the Galore, would be very, very nice. I enjoyed that ship a lot back in the day. I even used it in PvP, if you can believe it. And yeah, Rubica, a token, like another experimental ship upgrade that basically they don't have to sell us new T7 ships. They can just say, okay, we know that there will be a lot of heat on us if we do this. So let's just add another token that'll give everyone another console on their ship or things like that. If they do something like that, that'll be enough for most people, I would say. Yeah, that's exactly the issue, Jimmy. If they did T7, there'd be so much hate. So much hate. Cardassian ground weapons, yeah. There's lots of things that I'd like them to go back and add, but I just don't think they're going to do it. Waldo, if I'm being perfectly honest with you right now, and this may sound, elitist or whatever, there is no elite content right now that warrants tier 6 ships. Everything in the game can be done by tier 5s. There's very much no elite content that warrants tier 7. Philly, no. I think if they keep at the pace they're doing it, basically Bort is doing one specialization rework a year, it looks like. I would say if he keeps up at the current pace, that probably Pilot will see a revamp around February or March of next year. The issue with adding an extra weapon slot, like the game can very much support more weapons than we currently have. It just is an issue with server performance and how well of an experience you have with your connection to the server. If you start adding in more weapons, the server and the connection to the server doesn't always like that. But imagine if they had they wouldn't call it a tier 7 token. They'd call it like tier 6 Y or something, because we've got a tier 6 X token right now. If they did another one like that, I could see adding a hangar bay would be interesting, but that would also run into the server performance issues. Yeah, T6 double X, yeah. Just give us more universal console slots. Yeah, Jimmy, I would like hard content, but I don't think that's going to happen. any high-end players, like if you spend time to put a build together and it does more than probably 20,000 DPS, you are already outside of the target audience for the developers, in my opinion. Terrible HES. Yeah, Michael, I've experienced that a few times. I think the most painful, the thing that I most regretted, so uh, this was right before Infinity Lockbox came out and right before they nerfed the shit out of Contraband. Like, Contraband, you could do it every 4 hours. Now you can only do it once every 20 hours. I made a mistake. I had $400 worth of Zen that I had gotten just from doing Contraband for a couple months. I burnt it all on keys, and I opened the Zindi lockbox that dropped the Chemosite manuals. Because back then, each copy of Chemosite was selling for like over 100 million EC, and that was a lot of EC back in the day. Basically, 2 Chemosites was enough to get you a T6 ship. Like a lockbox ship off the exchange. So the market was very different back then. I burnt $400 worth of Zen on keys, and I got I got the EC out of it. I got what I expected. But had I just waited like another month, and I'd done that with Infinity right off the bat, that would have just expanded how much I got off Infinity. Because when Infinity first came out, like, I was very fortunate to be there and recognize right away what was happening and was able to capitalize on the market, all of the exchange bots that were running at the time that were still buying up all of the lockbox items. Like, I got so much EC at that time. Like, by the end of me opening the Infinity lockboxes when they first came out, within a month after that, I was at like 30,000 Lobby, entirely free to play. Like, had I just waited and not opened those Zindi lock boxes, man, I could have made so much more. So I understand that pain of getting something right before something better comes out. Atreus, your comment still is slightly disturbing. I'm a bit concerned. You know, that's another thing, now that you bring that up. So, when the Infinity lock boxes first came out, there were actually 2 different types of tier 6 ship boxes. There was the normal one that we have nowadays, and then there was this epic quality, like ultra rare T6 ship box that you could get from the Infinity lockbox. But it only contained 2 ships in it. It contained the Vomp and the Atros. So both of those ships, even though the drop rate was atrocious on that epic quality pack, there were only 2 ships in it, whereas the normal Infinity T6 box had like 30 at the time, so people ended up just having a ton of those boxes, and everyone kept dumping them for, Vomps to post on the exchange for like 80 mil. The Vomp was supposed to be one of the rarest to get lockbox ships, and it was 80 million EC on the exchange, back in what, 2017, 2018? Like, that was killer for anyone that was really chasing that ship. And then the worst thing is that for all of us, all the gamblers out there that were stupid and actually popped those for Vomps and Atroses, they ended up making it like a year or 2 later. They merged that box down into the Infinity ship box we have now. That's an ultra rare quality, the Infinity Starship box, T6 ship or whatever. So had all of us just kept those epic quality boxes instead of selling them for vomps that sold for basically nothing, had we just held on to that stockpile, they would have all converted into the more valuable boxes. That's another point of something that I screwed up on, and I know a lot of other people screwed up on because uh, I had gotten so many of those shit boxes, throughout the years. Terrible Kiwi. Yes, I agree. The the Zindies, they're my enemies right now. Yeah, I mean, if I knew a lot of these things before they happened, I would have taken advantage of them better. But while I may know of some things that are coming into the game, I don't know everything that's happening. So uh, there's a lot of things like that I miss, and I very much am sad to have missed. Like, if I'd had like even just 10 of those epic boxes, and I probably got like 20 or 30 of them throughout the years, uh, that would have been a lot more EC if they just spent the normal T6 box. But like the Vomp it's worth a lot of EC now, but that is a ship that I was dumping on loads of characters just because the trait might be okay and because the ship was so cheap. Like 80 million for a lockbox ship was just crazy. Like the Vomp right now, I want to see 1.4 billion. I wonder if there's even any of those Atros up on the exchange. Yeah, but these Vomps, they used to be just dirt cheap and now they're super expensive. Also, just a side note, for some reason, there's just a large quantity of promo ships sitting on the exchange. So if you were after a specific promo ship, like say a disco flight deck carrier, uh, you know, just check the exchange because there's been a few of these popping up recently. Even a Kirk up there, but I mean, the Kirk is not a good ship. Yes. Borg Juggernaut for 525 million. They just keep getting cheaper. The Emerald Chain. This will start to go up probably in probably about 2 weeks. This will start to go up, but I still don't think it's that good of a ship. Yeah, the seating really hurts the Kirk. It just does not have optimal seating, and honestly, if you want the type of seating the Kirk has, you can just get the Cygnus now. It's very comparable. Just checking to see if anything's sold on any of these characters. I don't have a problem at all. Is Goss still here? I don't want him to see this terrible thing. I got screwed. And that's why you don't gamble. That is why you don't gamble in this game. Okay, it is starting to get a bit late here. It's 5:30 and I want to go get some food. So if anyone has any final questions they want to ask, feel free to ask, but I'm going to start to wrap things up here. You've seen me fail at gambling. So I guess I can... I know what I gotta do. Okay.
It looks like you're about... Time is short. What do you need of me?
I know what I have to do. No, Nick, you cannot.
Welcome to...
Some of you know what I'm about to do. T6 Intel ship. I like the Scimitar. I think the Legendary Scimitar is just a really good platform for surgical strikes, if that's what you're inquiring about. I have to go to this console. Oh, this one's not lit up. I'm getting screwed on these. How funny would that have been if I'd gotten like an epic token here? That would have been funny. But it didn't happen. It's unfortunate. There were a surprising amount of people that believed that video that day. I even had in the description and in the pinned comment saying, hey, what's the date today? And nope. For the purchase of a ship alone, not a bundle, not the Legendary Scimitar. Well, let me... So you're wanting like a C-store ship for surgical strikes or a fleet one. I know the Gamorre's been fairly popular. People like doing having the hangar bays. You know, you could do that for the flight deck carrier aspect. Fleet-wise, the Quib, the Eclipse. Like, you have quite a few options here that would work. Yeah, the Adamant also really works for surgical strikes. Yeah, Cardassian flight deck is good. The Adamant, if you want fleet ships, the Eclipse, the Quib. I think I'd probably look at the Quib. It's a 4/4, but it'll work. You come back to a spreadsheet, yes, and you like it. Will key prices go back down? No, that's not going to happen. Key prices are only going to keep going up because Cryptic does not want to address the causes of inflation. I inquired about, you know, some of the issues on the stream a couple weeks back, and their response was, well, that's just native to these MMOs, you know, that over time the economy just becomes saturated with credits and, you know, there's not much they can do. So they're not going to do anything about the EC inflation. Augie, you're streaming here in just a little bit, right? God, Megla. Thank you, Alan. How you doing? The Quib is Commander Intel, and then Lieutenant Intel. Nice. So, if you guys want to check out another STO stream, Augie will be streaming here in about an hour and a half. Do you have that linked on your channel, Augie? Let me see if I can just drop a link in. Augie, you know you like the spreadsheets. So, guys, go check out Augie's stream here in about an hour and a half. There's a link to it. But that is going to be it for me today. So, once again, thank you to all channel members. But that is it for now. I'll be streaming again next Saturday for sure, and I might do another stream sometime throughout the week. I've been doing like 1 to 2 streams a week now, so I want to keep up with that pace. New video should be out Monday. I don't know what it's going to be about because I haven't even planned it out yet, but I'll get something out for Monday. Thanks all. See you guys around.